don't do stuff until you have to do it. So for example, instead of trying, this is again another mistake that I made, instead of doing a case study for every project you've ever done, do a case study for the most recent project you've had or the most common project you get. So for example, if someone comes to you asking for, a brand for a real estate company, you could do a case study on that project. And then the next time someone comes along with a real estate, you've got a real estate project, you've got a case study or a branding project, whatever it is. But the point is, don't do the case study until you get a customer coming with that project. And then it means
Mm,
that you're not doing loads of case studies that you aren't going to use. You're only really doing the case studies that you need at the time you need them. And you just pull it together, as a loom, for example, is the quickest way to do it rather than
mm.
spending ages doing case studies. And I'm glad that the technique I showed you with the breaking down a task and the breaking down the goals, it's a powerful tool because it gets out your head and you're not so stressed about it. But there's an addition, the next level of that, which I can share with you as well. Just
Okay.
now. So it's just kind of an extension of that technique.
That I have implemented your work process. Like I'm taking the big task and then I split it to smaller tasks, which I think it's brilliant. It has helped me a lot with my work.
You've taken your big task, you've broken it into subtasks. What I also like to do is I keep a running list of everything that I have to do. I call it lineup basically, and it's basically just stuff that I work on day to day. Now, this is a very messy list, and what you'll find is, right, see if I go through my list just now, this is huge. Look at the length of this list, right? Some
Mm,
people would look at this and think, right, this is a recipe for overwhelm and burnout, right? So
mm,
actually what this is, it's a dumping ground for everything that's in my brain. So as you work on your website, using your website as an example, you're going to find other tasks that come up. You're going to go, oh, I need to write a case study for that page. Oh, I need to write, rewrite my offer for the homepage and website. There'll be all these other spin-off tasks that come up as you're doing one
mm,
task. One task leads to many tasks. That's just how tasks work. So how do we deal with that? Is basically I dump them into my list. And what I do is I have a line on my list. I don't actually even do it as a line anymore because I do it in my head. But imagine in your to-do list, you have an imaginary line. I don't actually put in a line on your list.
mm,
If I try to get through all of this stuff that's on my list, I'm just going to burn out and get stressed out because I don't have enough time to do it. So what I do is basically I have a line, and anything below that line, I accept I'm not getting done. Basically, I just
mm,
accept it's not enough time to do it. And really, what I do is every day and every week, I sort of triage this list. I haven't done this in a while. I actually need to do it myself. But I basically delete stuff that has been on there for so long. I'm not going to do it. So if I go through this, there'll be stuff on here that I'm going to look at and go, do you know what? I'm not going to do that. For example, here, right, update brand values on my website. That's been on my
mm.
list for nearly a year. So I'm gonna let it go and say I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to delete it. Right.
Okay.
But I do this on at different periods. But basically what I say is every day I say, right, okay, what on the list can I do today? And I move the line about to say, right, okay, today it's realistic that I can get those things done and everything else can wait for later. And what you
Mm,
just have to it's kind of a mental mind shift to just say, I'm letting myself off the hook for doing this stuff because I'm not going to have time to do it. Today,
mm,
I'm only going to do what I can do in my 2 hours. And today that might be, today I'm gonna record a system on whatever it is for Life by Design. I'm gonna write a blog article or whatever it is. And it's a good way of doing a to-do list. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Some people recommend having, your top three priorities. Some people recommend having urgent, sorting it by urgency and priority. But I just find all of those are too complicated, and you're constantly going to be adapting this. So I find just having a dumping ground. I just dump them all in, and I basically shift stuff about, and I move it above the line when I want to deal with it. And everything
mm.
below the line, it's just a place to get it out of my head onto a list and accept that I've got to do it, but probably not today or this week. And I just every now and again I'll go back to it and remove stuff about or delete stuff or move it up. And you would
Mm.
be amazed at how much stuff that you think you have to do right now, that when you put it on this list and then you come back 4 weeks later and it's still not done and nothing bad's happened, you're like, well, do I actually even need to do that? And it doesn't seem so important anymore, and you just delete it. So it's almost like a way of saying no to yourself, because over time you've just saved so much time of having to do all these tasks that you weren't going to do. So
I think, yeah, I need to make a to-do dump list.
yeah. It'll really help your levels of burnout and your overwhelm. If you're anything like me, the moment I have more than a couple of things in my head, it really stresses me out and I feel the pressure to finish all these tasks. So dumping it just it relieves that pressure of having to hold on to the task, and
Yeah.
allows you to let go of it to focus on what's important.